And as of today, TikTok is back.
I'll just say it. I'm sorry. I was wrong. Okay? You heard it from me first. I was wrong. We got to talk about TikTok.
Now I'm rooting for Trump? Ew! God, like, make America great again, I guess. God.
I'm Jasmine Lane. This is Over Opinionated. Subscribe to the channel. Like the video, comment your thoughts down below, and give me a follow on other social media platforms as well. Now, I had so many people asking me about the TikTok ban prior to it coming into effect. It was supposed to come into effect, banned in the US as of January 19th. And every time somebody asked me, I was like, with all the knowledge I have, there is no way that the government is just going to have a ban. Like suddenly every single account on TikTok is going to cease to exist. That doesn't make any sense at all. No, it'll be a slow phase out, a slow rollout. That's how these things work. But I was wrong. I was wrong. In fact, I was very wrong, because before January 19th, in the evening roughly on January 18th, it started being reported that many people on TikTok who were from the US were getting this lovely little notice popping up saying, sorry, TikTok isn't available right now. A law banning TikTok has been enacted in the United States. Unfortunately, that means you can't use TikTok for now. And to all of the Gen Z and millennials who hate Donald Trump, ooh, this one's got a sting, because it went on to say, we are fortunate that President Trump has indicated that he will work with us on a solution to reinstate TikTok once he is in office. Please stay tuned. Now, just to recap, the reason why TikTok was banned in the first place is because in April 2024, Biden signed the Protecting Americans from Foreign Adversary Controlled Applications Act. Wow, that's a lengthy title. And that legislation required ByteDance, who owns TikTok, to sell its stake in TikTok by January 19th, 2025, or face a ban in the US. ByteDance did not comply with this requirement, and thus TikTok was shut down. Now, I am so shocked by the rollout of this, and this is something to think about as well. The fact that the government is able to actually ban and have a notice like that pop up because you aren't allowed to use a certain app, because they have said that, it's because of the Chinese government, right? So that could compromise the privacy and security of American users. It's weird how they're not going after like Temu or Shein, but okay. And also, let's keep in mind that there is no public evidence whatsoever. Zero, yip, nada. No evidence that the Chinese government has ever accessed TikTok user data, and the potential risk of that is what has prompted these actions. Not evidence-based. That seems very undemocratic to me. And of course, anybody who's been following along with this story is quite aware that this actually has nothing to do with China. They say, oh, it's China. When it comes to leftist politics, literally, it's China or it's Russia. Those are the bad guys. Nobody else. Nobody. It doesn't matter if the bad guys are actually your own government. Edward Snowden, if anybody remembers that whole case.
Oh, TikTok is, owned by a Chinese company, and the Chinese are probably using it to find, what American teenage girls are putting on their hair and stuff, and really scary stuff. And Congress is flexing its muscles. Well, you know what? There's a whole generation of kids for which TikTok is an entryway business, and it's employing hundreds of thousands of people.
It's totally fine if the US government is the one collecting and selling and misusing and spying on you, but we just don't want anybody else to do it. And if the problem was really China, then could you just please explain to me how the government has allowed over 380,000 acres in total farmland bought up by China that is all perfectly positioned around 19 US military bases? Just, let us know how big of a threat China is, because clearly they're not too big of a threat for you to allow them to purchase this property that's very close to some very important areas. No. Well, if you look into the story a lot more, it is pretty apparent that this actually had a whole lot more to do with Israel than it did with China in the first place. In fact, they even admitted it.
Typically, the Israelis are good at PR. What's happened here?
The way this is played out on social media has dominated the narrative. The emotion, the impact of images dominates.
Some wonder why there was such overwhelming support for us to shut down potentially TikTok or other entities of that nature. If you look at the postings on TikTok and the number of mentions of Palestinians relative to other social media sites, it's overwhelmingly so among TikTok.
Now that is a rabbit hole for a different video, but as we know, TikTok did start shutting down, not even on the 19th. It was on the eve of impending doom, where all of the Gen Z, millennials, and also quite a few hashtag TikTok moms were starting to lose their collective cool. That is until Donald Trump.
And as of today, TikTok is back. So, I did a little TikTok thing. We have a guy, TikTok Jack. He's a young kid, like 21 years old. And we hired this guy, and I went on TikTok. Can you believe what I'll do to win an election? And we went on TikTok, and Republicans have never won the young vote, the youth vote.
Who now holds a special place in their heart, or who now holds a special way of manipulating the narrative and truth for radical lefties.
I want to be very clear about something. Both TikTok and Republicans are saying that Donald Trump is the reason that TikTok is back. He kept it alive in the United States. We should be thanking him. No. No.
Yes. But let's let him continue.
No. Trump signed an executive order to ban TikTok when he was president on August 6th, 2020.
Yes, and as we found out, that actually didn't have the authority to ban the app. The app was banned because there was a bill that was passed in the House, in the Senate, and then Biden signed it. And yes, it was bipartisan. So saying the app is not back because of Trump is the highest level of cope. It's slightly pathetic.
Let's just get into the facts of the matter, shall we? It's quite difficult to say that this has nothing to do with Donald Trump when TikTok's own welcome back message to users after they started restoring service after Donald Trump says this. Welcome back. Thanks for your patience and support. As a result of President Trump's efforts, TikTok is back in the U.S. How delusional are you to say, no, this is thanks to Joe Biden. This isn't Donald Trump. TikTok's own message says that it's Donald Trump, and worse, they also posted a statement. In agreement with our service providers, TikTok is in the process of restoring service. We thank President Trump for providing the necessary clarity and assurance to our service providers that they will face no penalties providing TikTok to over 170 million Americans and allowing over 7 million small businesses to thrive. It's a strong stand for the First Amendment and against arbitrary censorship. We will work with President Trump on a long-term solution that keeps TikTok in the United States, the company added.
I never, whether it's in classified or public briefings, heard information that made me believe that we were under imminent threat from a national security perspective with TikTok. I believe that our privacy has been greatly compromised by foreign and American companies.
And here is just a little bit more of what Trump had to say last night at his pre-inauguration rally.
TikTok is worth nothing, zero, without an approval. If you don't approve, they're out of business, they're worth nothing. If you do approve, they're worth like $1 trillion. They're worth some crazy number. So I said, I'll approve, but let the United States of America own 50% of TikTok. I'm approving on behalf of the United States. So they'll have a partner, the United States, and they'll have a lot of bidders, and the United States will do what we call a joint venture. And there's no risk. We're not putting up any money. All we're doing is giving them the approval.
And you know what's even more hilarious is the United States says, okay, cool, we're going to ban TikTok because it's a Chinese security threat. No evidence to back that, but that's what we're telling you. However, following the ban, U.S. TikTokers who, they're so used to this validation they get online, they're so used to being able to share and report on absolutely everything that's happening in their lives, from their outfit to some crazy encounter they witnessed while they're out on the streets, they started losing their collective cool, so they started migrating to a Chinese social media platform that isn't even in English, it's in Mandarin, and it's called Red Note. So the U.S. says, we're going to fix this problem But instead, they just created the problem that they were trying to solve by having their users go directly over to a 100% Chinese social media platform, which is hilarious.
I mean, I would ask you this question, or any of you. Are you more worried that the Chinese are spying on us and propagandizing us, or are you more worried that the CIA is spying on us and propagandizing us? I'm not saying I know the answer to that question. I'm saying it's something we all ought to be thinking about. Because, I'm just as scared of our intelligence agencies. I think they can do more damage to us. And, it's like if you have if you have an abuser out of your home at school, that's pretty bad. But what if you have one inside your home?
Well, it's safe to say, as much as the demo crazies in the USA want to try to take any opportunity whatsoever to slam Donald Trump and just loathe anything at all that could even be remotely good about him, even if it's true. They just loathe it. They resent it. It makes their blood boil. The facts are the facts. And yes, Donald Trump saved TikTok, which you should give me a follow on, by the way. I'm Jasmine Lane. This is Over Opinionated. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, share, comment, all that stuff everybody on YouTube tells you to do. And I will talk to you very soon.